Hey, what's going on, guys? FlynnMasters coming at you with another video, and today I'll be continuing on with my chef ranking series, as I'll be ranking every chef from rookies versus veterans from my least favorite. And I do feel like this is one of the more easier ones for me to make, so let's get right into it with Scott Lee, who was of course the main one responsible for the bullying of Trev, to the point where he was pretty much going out of his way to agnatize the guy. And I mean, he literally made even the biggest of Trev haters feel bad for him with just how awful Scott Lee was this season. Definitely a dark point of an otherwise really good season. And once again, the second worst chef of the season is Jen. And now, while I will say her outburst is one of the most iconic moments of the season, if not one of the most iconic moments ever, again, I just cannot forgive the fact that she had the audacity to call out Ramsay for trying to sabotage her. Just freaking pathetic. And it's safe to say Jen's reputation did not improve whatsoever despite the second chance. At number 14 is Ro, and literally I sometimes forget she came back for the season. I mean, she is that forgettable. You know, I will say it is pretty funny and ironic that a season 13 returnee was that insanely forgettable, like go figure. But yeah, I literally have nothing to say about Ro, despite not even that being that early of an early boot, which is funny. And speaking of early boots, we have two of the most surprising early boots in Hell's Kitchen history coming back to back here, with Kevin landing in at number 13. And yeah, of course, a legend of the show, but just brought nothing to this season. I mean, he even admitted himself he didn't really care, you know, this time around. But obviously he's better than Jen and Scott Lee, and the fact that it was so shocking to see him go home third makes him a bit more memorable than Ro, in my opinion. At number 12 is almost a word-for-word copy here with T. And yeah, probably even more shocking to see someone who went toe-to-toe with the greatest chef ever in season 14 to be the 5th boot this season, and the 4th one eliminated conventionally. Again, I will always love T, and this moment was shocking, but man, to this day, I still cannot believe it. At number 11 is someone who I wanted to root for and was actually a pretty big fan of early on, but was probably the second biggest Trev bully behind Scott Lee, with that being Jose. And like I said, he seemed poised for an underdog run after getting nominated by Ramsay on night one, only to be really damn good up until his all-time bad past performance, still the worst one in history in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, he was also pretty bad at Trev, especially during his elimination episode, and that was just such a shame to see. Not to mention that in general, he was, you know, extremely forgettable. So when you average out all the negatives with some positives and memorable moments, I think, you know, 11 is a good spot for Jose. At number 10 is another chef similar to Jose, with that being Brett. And again, there's so many positives about Brett. You know, as y'all know by now, I adore his passion. Was a massive character this season who was doing this for his recently passed parents. And the fact that he got a second chance and proved he could indeed compete with the best of the best with a 3rd place finish was cool to see. But again, there's just no getting around how he actively took part in the bullying of Trev. You know, I expected more from him, especially during Trev's elimination episode. That was really bad. And if it wasn't for that, he would be so much higher, but I just cannot respect that. So because of that, Brett lands here at number 10. On to the chef who was the least bad than Trev, but nonetheless didn't exactly back him up anyway, with that being Mato. And not only that, but Mato isn't exactly the most exciting of personalities, which, to be fair, in this case I do actually like, as it's a nice contrast from most of the red team. And of course was a damn good cook who likely would have been in the final 2 had he not quit, which I know is also somewhat controversial to a lot of people. I at first I didn't like it, but I've grown to respect it, as he indeed stuck to his word and helped the Baton Rouge culinary scene, so I do respect that. But again, I just can't overlook that he also took part in the ugliness on the red team at times this season, which is why he lands here at number 9. She was likely high to some people last time, and she once again might be pretty high here, with that being Heather. And again, man, maybe one of these days I'll get to Heather hate, but she just doesn't offend me whatsoever once again this season. I mean, she does have more negative moments for sure, but like, I do respect that she was able to get a black jacket, even though obviously Kane deserved one over her. But like, nonetheless, you know, despite coming back so soon, like, I had a bad feeling about that. We would get like a Robert 2.0, and especially after her somewhat slow start and Kevin and T going out back to back as the other runner-ups, like, she must have felt a ton of pressure. So good for her for busting her ass to get a black jacket, and overall having one of the best resumes in Hell's Kitchen history with the 2nd and 5th place finish. So again, there's nothing great about Heather, but I just don't dislike her as much as other people, and I'm just really impressed by her resume, so that's the main reason why she lands here at number 8. I cannot believe this chef is this high, but at number 7 is the first boot, Scott. And here's the thing, not only is he an iconic first boot for how bad he was, but he was absolutely hilarious too, with the way he acted and some of the things he said was very Krista-esque. You know, obviously you had him cooking tableside in the kitchen and just being completely flabbergasted about it, you know. You have his, well, I can make beef well nomination plea. And in general, despite getting his ass handed to him, credit where credit is due. Scott generally had a smile on his face throughout his short stay. You know, I don't know why, and he seemed completely delusional about his performance. So, but I mean, you have to give the guy credit, I guess. So, between him being one of Hell's Kitchen's most legendary first boots and absolutely hilarious TV, Scott lands here at number 7. At number 6 is Chris. He seemed like an awesome and chill dude who looked to be on a possible underdog run, which would have been fun to see from his archetype. But yeah, he's obviously this high dude has quit. One of the more emotional moments in Hell's Kitchen history when he talked about his accident before the show and how he was getting demons from that. You have to respect the guy for giving his all. But at the same time, you also have to respect him for, knowing when to step away. And it just goes to show, how real this show is, right? These are real people. So I know he left too soon for some, but I have so much respect for Chris, and I'm sure he would have been a great character this season, and most importantly, not taking part in the Trev bullying. At number 5 is the highest ranked male this season, with that of course being Trev. And yeah, I pretty much said it throughout the video, but the way he got treated this season was just awful. And I don't care how you feel about Trev in season 8, like you had to feel at least a bit bad for him with all he had to go through this season. But yet despite all that and being an obvious weakling coming into the season, especially compared to the other veterans, he was somehow somewhat able to almost earn a black jacket. Mad respect for Trev for his fight. One of the best underdog runs in Hell's Kitchen history. So the top 4 are obviously all women, and again, the difference between the red and blue team this season is pretty crazy, as the blue team after the swap is one of my all-time favorite teams, and Gizzy is a big part of that. And again, she was super bubbly and positive, just one of those people who make you smile every time she's on screen. But unfortunately, just got taken away from us far too soon due to the Cook of Your Life challenge. And had it not been for that, she for sure could have been in contention for a black jacket, if not earn one. Nonetheless, still a great character this season, but due to leaving so soon, she couldn't make quite as big of impact as the 3 chefs above her. And at number 3 is the winner of the season in Ariel. And I know as a character, she's really a nobody this season, but like I've said before, to see this somewhat forgotten chef on Hell's Kitchen's best season come back 12 seasons later to dominate this season, it almost feels like she kept the spirit of season 6 alive in a way, like that incredible cast and season is still being represented in the best of ways all this time later, it's just super cool to me. So again, not exactly the best personality to ever win the show, but what a dominant winner Ariel is, which is why she's in my top 3. The top 2 are extremely similar to each other, and for that matter, Gizzy as well, with number 2 being Kanae. And again, Kanae was always so positive and energetic, always seemed to have a big, contagious smile on her face, and one of the best non-black jacket chefs ever. I mean, there's literally no reason why she couldn't have even made the final 2 for that matter, as opposed to the chef above her. Again, just one of those chefs that's just awesome all around, great cook, great personality. Obviously, Rob, that helps her case. Just a great character this season. But at number 1, my favorite chef this season is Mia. And yeah, take what I said about Gizzy and Kanae's personalities and multiply it times 20 for Mia. Super spunky and a spark plug in the kitchen. Has, in my opinion, the best smile in the show's history. One of Hell's Kitchen's best challenge performers. And while you could argue her final 2 run is a bit over, her final 2 run is lucky and she's overrated as a chef in general. At the end of the day, to get as far as she did on such a talented season and to be the last rookie standing, like that deserves praise no matter how it happened. Like, come on. So again, one of Hell's Kitchen's best personalities, and in my mind, a very deserving final 2 finalist. And that is why Mia is my favorite chef of this season. So there you have it, guys, my ranking of every chef from Hell's Kitchen rookies versus veterans. Let me know what you think of my list in the comments below, and be sure to be on the lookout for season 19 ranking tomorrow. And with all that said, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.